Welcome to African Canadian Voice. Today we are going to show you an episode in relation to the Ethiopian Association. The Ethiopian Association has a yearly camp that does during the summer, and today we're going to go around and show you what they have to do in order to keep their community together and show their culture to the younger generations and keep their network together. So as we move around today, we're going to be seeing a lot of things about the Ethiopian Association, their culture, their food, their coffee ceremony, and other important things, the music as well. This is a camping site where everybody has his own tent, and all the kids and the families come together in here. And as you can see, this place is so secluded, and it's very convenient for coming together and networking, talking to each other, having the conversation among families, the young people, and all other aspects of their being together. In that sense, this is all the Ethiopians cherish to come together, and they long for it, and because it is something that they are going to do it every now and then. Every year they have something for the young generation, for all age brackets, and it's very exciting for them. And today we're going to have to share that experience with them. I think this is where they prepare the food for the event, and let's see what they have in here, because sooner or later we might be sharing with the food. And this is the kitchen, a temporary kitchen they have in here. What are you guys cooking in here? Tips. Okay, this is for tips? Oh, I know. Okay. What about this? Sure, okay. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Salut.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah. You guys having fun? Yeah. How is it?
Yes.
Huh? You need this every week?
Yes.
Good.
Coffee comes from Ethiopia, and we always enjoy coffee. We celebrate coffee like
from commercial, and we're going to continue about covering this event today. And I'm going to talk to Mr. Mulatu. Mr. Mulatu, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and why you came to this special event?
Oh, thank you for the opportunity. I came from Toronto. I met the London Ethiopian community 16 years ago, and I heard they have a good camping story in London, and later on I joined them for the last 8 years. I continuously coming, and this is really a very phenomenal event. Like, to see Ethiopia outside Ethiopia is really interesting. So I came here to be part of the community and share the community's wealth and enjoy the moment in this land of immigrants.
Great. It has been, you told me that it's since 8 years ago you started coming in here. How was your experience throughout all these years?
Each year, every year, phenomenal things happens. The children's activity, the brotherhood among elders, and I don't know if you get the chance, there is a firework in the evening, playing so many stories, our childhood, fun stuff. That is really amazing, and like you can see what life really is back at home in Ethiopia, and here is repeated in a different situation.
So although you're from Toronto, you have created a second home around London Ethiopian Association, and then you come every year you expanded your cultural experience.
It is, but beyond that, I found this community is my community. I belong to them. Mm-hmm. There's a sense of belongingness.
Okay.
And on top of that, the London Ontario community has one thread in them. They believe who they are as an Ethiopians, and they want to pass that torch to the children, and they repeat everything. Maybe that could be tied to the Pan African movement. Mm-hmm. And the unity, the commitment among the leaders and the members. Even each year the numbers, some people, you got new faces and you met new people, and you get a new relationship. Like in the last 5 years, I met 5 different people which I don't know before. They are living here, I'm living in Toronto, they don't know me, I don't know them. So that is another asset. Yeah. Meaning the network is growing, and our children are growing, and they know with each other. And above all, now we met a new community group. You guys came and do that. Okay, if it's not there, I shouldn't be able to meet you, and I should meet the gentleman and the lady.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were attracted. It's our first time. Actually, our series is a new one. It's our first time to come in here, but obviously this is going to be a constant in our scheduling program about events of African Canadian history, culture, and things like that. And we're really very glad that you are happy. You had a very excellent experience. And is there anything you wanted to say about this?
You know what? This has to do with, I don't know if this message comes to the policymakers. Mm-hmm. Canada promotes one thing, multicultural policy, and like small minority groups, in order to enhance, develop their cultural things, they need more support, so that such kind of activities should be encouraged and well funded, and must be supported with research to promote, because I am professionally a teacher. I'm teaching in high school. Mm-hmm. What I see is certain kids have a lot of identity crisis. So that is now one of the surrounding issues, leading to a number of mental health problems. So for kids not to have that kind of challenge, having that cultural groups to build their culture and know who they are from their parents, the best teachers in the world is this. So such kind of programs must be funded well, supported well, and if do that, we can make a difference.
Yeah, I understand the Ethiopian community is doing a lot of inroads into that area, into that gap in terms of closing the gap of belonging and networking for the young people. At the same time also giving them meaningful identity based on culture and based on heritage that would enhance their Canadianness in here. And we're really glad that you gave us this perspective in terms of how this should be progressing in the coming years. And thank you very much, Mr. Mulatu.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. We hope we'll see you each year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue on this episode. Welcome back to our show, African Canadian Voice. Right now we're continuing covering the campsite today, and we're going to have a few words with Shelley and Caroline. Caroline, tell us a little bit about how you found this camping experience.
Well, our connection to the Ethiopian community happened through Petros, who is the teacher of the Amharic program for children in London, Ontario. And my daughter and Carolyn's daughter started going to the school several years ago, and Petros let us know about this camping weekend, and I thought this was the perfect opportunity to bring my daughter to come and be around other Ethiopian people and to be exposed to her culture. And they have opened their arms to us and really made us feel so welcomed, and I look forward to this weekend every summer. It's a great opportunity actually to be the minority.
Nice.
I think it's a great opportunity because my daughter experiences that every day in our community where we live, and I don't. And so this has been an opportunity for me to feel how she must feel. But I mean, really, it isn't how I feel because they're my friends.
That's right.
And I really feel a part of the community, but that's because they've opened their arms to us.
So have you been coming every year in here? For how long have you been coming to this?
I think we've been coming for 7 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and we haven't missed a year yet.
Wow, that's excellent. So throughout the years, how was your experience in terms of how things change or how the event goes on and unfold and things?
Well, the location has changed. There's been 2 different locations. But other than that, really just the feeling every year, my feeling of comfort with the community and friendships just continue to grow. And also my daughter's comfort, I think, with the community continues to grow. So that's really the only change because the format has basically stayed the same. And when my daughter was in the Amharic school, Petros did a graduation. Some of our camping weekends, he would take some time to do a graduation for the kids, and he even made them caps, and it was actually, that was really meaningful. And I've been always so thankful to Petros for what he's done for us and for our kids, because really he's been the reason why we've been connected to the community. And then from there, his wife and their friends and the rest of the community have seen their welcoming of us, and they've also been very welcoming to us as well.
Yeah, because when we come to cover in here, they told us that there is a great family in here also that bring their children, and then we wanted to talk to you because it adds another dimension to the event, and we're really glad you shared your views about that. And in terms of bringing your daughter over here, how was the process, and tell us a little bit about that, and then how she became part of all this event.
Well, my desire to adopt a child started when I was 28 years old, and I just had that in my heart for a very long time because I was almost 42 when I brought my daughter home, which is 9 years ago now. It's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I just felt like there were so many kids that needed a home that's how I wanted to become a parent. And so when I was ready to start looking at adoption seriously, I went on the internet basically to find adoption agencies that were close by and what countries they were adopting from. And in that time, from the time I was 28 until about 39 was when I started the process. I'd really started developing a heart for orphan children in Africa. I was hearing about the kids that were orphaned because of AIDS and how there was millions and millions of orphan children in Africa that were living either by sibling-led homes or on their own. And I just thought, like, that's completely unacceptable. Like, why isn't the world responding to that? So when I saw that this particular agency adopted from Ethiopia, I knew instantly that's what I wanted to do. So the process was very long. It took 3 years.
Wow.
And that was from the time that I handed in all of my paperwork, and the process to get to that point was probably at least 9 months long. Like it's a very long process. And unfortunately, the agency that I went through went bankrupt pretty much a year after I handed in all my paperwork. So it was a rocky road, let me tell you. And there was a lot of times that I wasn't sure that it was even going to happen. But 3 years after I handed in all my paperwork, that's how long I was waiting for, my mom and I went to pick up my daughter and bring her home. And so I just knew that, I mean, when you become an adoptive parent, you know some things beforehand, but you don't certainly know all of it. It's a learning journey as you go. But I knew that it was going to be very important to keep her connected to her culture. And I also wanted to have a sense of community around her, but I really had no idea how that was going to happen, because where we live, it's a small community. And so when I learned about language lessons, which I don't even really remember how that happened, because that was a while ago. But when I learned about the language lessons is when we were introduced to Petros, and that's really how it all started. As parents seeking that opportunity out, but then it was Petros's heart for these kids, and he really had a heart not just for our kids but for the parents. Like, he so appreciated what we were doing for our children, and he didn't hide that. He was always very appreciative of what we were doing for our children, and I think his heart to connect us to the community was so apparent. So he started inviting us to the special dinners that they would have, and Carolyn and I would take our kids, and we felt welcomed at that point. And then the first opportunity for the camping weekend, it was kind of pushing myself out of my comfort level, because there was very few people that I knew in the community at that time. But I really felt, you know what, this is important for my daughter. It's not about me, it's about my daughter, and I need to do what I can to connect her to the community, and to give her that sense of who she is. And what better way to do that than to connect to the local community, who can just share things with her that I just don't know and I can't share. So that's how it got started, and honestly, I really do feel like this is one of the biggest blessings in our journey as an adoptive family. This has been one of the biggest blessings, is having this community and very special friends. Some very special friendships have developed out of this, and really, I'm so thankful. We're really blessed.
Yeah, it's quite moving story, you know, to have this kind of trajectory through the process where he went through, but the loved one, and brought your child, and then he found all this welcoming environment. It's quite a moving story. Is there anything you wanted to say more about the event and the Ethiopian culture?
Just a huge thank you to the Ethiopian community in London, but also to Petros, and especially to Petros, because if we didn't have him initially, and if we didn't have him continuing, like this year, Petros and the Ethiopian Executive Committee have put together a Heritage Day, and really that's come out of a real desire and a commitment to connect the kids, particularly who are adopted, to their culture and to their heritage. And so, I mean, that's really in their own doing. We haven't asked them. I can't remember how this all developed, but that's really out of their heart. And so to experience that it is really, really touching, because, you know, I could not have imagined in my wildest dreams, really, that I would have my Ethiopian friends come to my home for dinner, or that I would be at their home for dinner, or that we would be here for a camping weekend and be surrounded by the Ethiopian community and be so warmly welcomed. Like, really, that's not just part of when you go in to adopt a child, you don't have those things in your mind thinking that that's going to happen, but the fact that they developed and that they're here is something that really goes beyond what I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, that's quite a unique story that gives a different angle to the beautiful day and the event that was happening in here, and I really thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. Petros, you were the connection for bringing this family into this event, and how did it start? Can you tell us a bit?
Yeah, I would say it was not actually planned. I ran a heritage school in London. Basically, that was intended to accommodate the Ethiopian children born in Canada, so that they can get connected to their heritage and know some of the languages that we have. Ethiopia is very diverse, but at least knowing one official language of the country would help the kids to get connected to their heritage. So that school was started, and I was running that school. Initially, I started it, but there were many people involved in the teaching and scheduling and programming in the running of the school. So it is Shelley who left me a message. I don't know where she got my phone number. She left me a message on my answering machine saying that she is interested, she's an adopted parent, that she wants to bring her daughter to that Amharic school. And then I listened to the message, and I called her back. First time I called, I couldn't get to her, but somehow we got connected, and she showed the interest to come, and I said, well, the school is for kids, anybody who are interested to learn the language, the heritage of Ethiopia, especially if you have adopted someone from Ethiopia, this is the perfect place for her to come. So that way we got connected, and many of them, they were coming, they didn't live in London, they were there every week for 2 hours, bringing their children. And I was so appreciative of the parents themselves being so much interested to get the kids connected to their heritage. And I always mention that. I always admire their courage, their commitment for doing this. So that's how we got connected, and our relationship somehow kept on going, and we're here.
Yeah, had they not been parents of great commitment, they wouldn't come from out of town to London to do this, because I know in other events and situations, parents who are living in London who do not take their kids to language schools. So compared to that, it shows that the kind of commitment they have to the well-being and well-roundedness of your kids, and it's quite moving story, and we really appreciate for sharing that with us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.